asleep by the time we get on the screen. We'll see. Oh. Hi. Thank you so much for your patience with me. Yeah, I was really hoping that someone would rest her eyes, rest herself, go to sleep. But it's just not gonna happen today. So, yeah, exactly. So I'm here just hanging out because I haven't been doing my lives for a while because Donald Trump has declared March to be Whitey History Month. And so we're rolling with it. We're going to go ahead and we've been posting daily videos about moments and people of Whitey history. It's been going really well. And it's been really interesting. So just kind of keeping that going today, taking a break from doing videos, and wanted to just open up the space again for anybody who might want to call and chat with somebody who thinks maybe a little differently than they do. But I also had some thoughts on YT Jesus. Because again, during YT History Month, we're talking about all these topics. And something that's really, pivotal when it comes to just whiteness and the culture of YTs, like it's Christianity. Whether you're a Christian or not, it's come up. It's come up in your life in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure. So we're just gonna be talking about that today. I have some thoughts. So I'm just chit-chatting unless and until you decide to leave a comment or call in or whatever you like to do to just have a conversation. You might be able to hit the guest button. I don't know. I'm streaming a different way tonight, so I don't think I can add guests using this platform. So if you want to interact, I think you will have to call in. But I just wanted to start with, when it comes to Christianity and whiteness, just talking a little bit about Christianity as a justification for white supremacy. One of the first things that really led us down this path was a thing called, the doctrine of discovery, which was created in 1493. And this is what gave Christian Europeans the right to claim non-Christian lands. So this is what paved the way for everything. All the colonization, all the genocide, all the graping, and all the smallpox blankets, all the manifest destiny, all of it started because of the doctrine of discovery. So it's kind of interesting how we'll see these little seeds of things that just plant themselves and then grow, as Billie Holiday would say, a strange fruit. But that would be the first thing that kind of set us on the motion of slavery, of indigenous people having their lands removed, of the Trail of Tears, of literally everything. So the doctrine of discovery is where we started. Moving into then the transatlantic slave trade, that was justified using the Bible. Yes, hi. So in other words, slaves, obey your earthly masters. That's in Ephesians 6:5. So Christianity and all the kind of horrible, crappy things about our world are hand in hand. They're so intertwined. It's kind of sad. But I mean, again, that's, I think, what Whitey history is all about. Just kind of looking at what's happened in the past and how it's still affecting the future. So again, crazy how all this began in 1493. And we're still feeling and seeing the effects of all this today. And that's what we've been really discovering as we've been going through every day of YT History Month. Man, I've done posts on Bacon's Rebellion and the Homestead Act and what really happened with the Civil War and all this stuff. And so just kind of piecing it all together has been kind of wild, but we haven't really touched on the underpinnings of Christianity throughout all this. So that's kind of what I'm just kind of blabbing about tonight. Again, just opening up this space if anybody wants to call in. I don't have guest functionality just yet, but if you want to leave a comment, I read pretty much all of them. So I'm happy for you to participate in that way as well. And I am so sorry, my daughter is not sleeping. It's 11 p.m. where I am, and so yeah, normally she's a little closer to falling out here. But yeah, so we talked a little bit about the doctrine of discovery being kind of the linchpin for Christianity setting off the world's evils. The transatlantic slave trade being one. And then, of course, manifest destiny, which is what initiated the United States' expansion westward. That was considered a divine right. And that divinity justified genocide and land theft. And again, grape and schmurder. So, it's funny that we talk about Christianity as this religion of peace, or Islam even as the religion of peace. But yeah, no, they don't really bear that out when you look at the history of our country or of, colonization that's occurred throughout the war. I've just started this book called The Heart of Darkness, like literally like 2 pages in, and it's talking about like all the exploitation that happened in Africa from colonization and the all the different European yes, like trading companies and things that just go into these places and absolutely wreck shop. It's just absolutely horrifying. So yeah, if you have thoughts on that, if you feel like I'm wrong, if you're a Christian and you're like, no, we're great, we're awesome, Jesus is the best. Why? I would love to know how and why people are still religious in this day and age. Um, Personally, I'm a very strong atheist, but so it's just weird for me because I'll actually talk to people who say, "Oh, I used to be an atheist. Like, how's that possible? How's that even possible?" It's like literally saying, "Oh, I have somehow re-believed in Santa Claus." Could you imagine? Oh, I figured out that the tooth fairy was just my mom, but I'm going to believe in her again anyway. Like, that's really what it kind of likens to for me. But yeah, again, I'm just kind of chit-chatting about my thoughts on whiteness and Christianity for a little bit. Just because I've been neglecting you all. I have been really hardcore into producing my daily videos for YT History Month, and so that's kind of been the forefront. So again, I just wanted to open up this space. Normally, this is the Call a Liberal show. Yeah, where people call in if you're MAGA or if you're a white supremacist or if you're anything that, might think a little differently than me. I open this space for people who want to have a chat or discussion and try to find where we actually might have some similarities that you maybe didn't see at first. Because I just don't, I'm just not a good debater. I don't think that's really productive. And so I think the better way to build bridges with each other is just the chat. And so that's really what this space is and has evolved to. Normally we don't have third party people, or at least she's normally sleeping, but not today. So if you don't mind being interrupted a little bit by some babbling, you're welcome to call in again. Otherwise, I'm just kind of killing the space and killing the time, chit-chatting about YT history, particularly as it pertains to Christianity. So, my objective is not to be offensive to Christians, especially, or to YT people, but just going over the history and trying to find the parallels of actions and practices that might have occurred in the past that are still influencing how we operate and live today. So one of those would be, yes. We could talk about the role of Christianity in American slavery and segregation. So for instance, Southern slaveholders used Christianity to enforce obedience among the enslaved. All while stripping them of their, autonomy and their own cultures. So again, because passages like Ephesians 6:5 encourage slaves to obey their masters. It was natural to force these people to make Christianity their only possible religion, and for having them forego the religions of their homeland and their culture and their languages, and then bringing them here so that they could not learn English but could only learn the Bible. And sorry. So, kind of sucks. Also, many abolitionists, the people who were actually like anti-slavery, they were religious. And so it's kind of funny that you could use the same book to, so sorry, you could use the same book to basically keep people in bondage, and then also you can use that same book to justify why they shouldn't be in bondage. So for instance, there were like Confederate leaders who believed that God ordained, white people to rule. And then again, you had some abolitionists who believed that God said, all men are created equal, and every person is made in the image of God. And so it's just wild that you can take whatever meaning you want to justify how you want to live in this world. If you want to be somebody who enslaves others, or if you want to be somebody who encourages the freedom for others, you could use the same book, which is kind of wild. Most whitey churches actually supported segregation. In fact, many, especially Southern Baptist churches, were very pro-slavery, and then later they were very pro-Jim Crow. And what's so wild is we even see that kind of moving into how this current presidency happened. I'll give you a good example. One of the biggest dog whistles of the Republican Party is abortion. And so one of the crazy things about that is it didn't always make anybody mad on the Christian right. Like, abortion was never really this big deal, So basically, even after Roe versus Wade was enacted in 1973, it didn't cause a huge fuss. It was a great move. People were able to more safely manage their health care in that regard, and it was all good. But the churches were so racist that they got pissed that they had to start integrating their schools and their churches and their universities. And so they were like, we're not gonna do that. So they ended up kind of fucking around and then finding out. So there was a school called Bob Jones University, and they said, we're not going to integrate our university. And the federal government was like, okay, well, no more funding for you. And so that actually went to court. Was it Runyon and something? It was a court case around Bob Jones University not integrating their schools, and they lost, and they had to pay all this money, and then they lost a lot of federal funding. It was a really big deal. And there was a gentleman named Paul Wayrish who was so pissed that this happened and that the government was forcing them to have to integrate their churches and their universities and their schools and their private schools, their private religious schools. That he said, hey, to all my constituents, to all the congregations that were part of the evangelical Christian right at the time, we got to fight this. We got to fight this so hard. And he really tried to like use his pulpit and use all the pulpits that he had control of to get people to go against integration. And it didn't really work. So by the time the late 70s rolled around, they said, we need something else. We need something else to rile up the people, because this whole integration segregation battle, we're not going to win it. So they looked around and they said, what can we latch on to? And they picked abortion. Yes, they picked abortion. And so basically in 1977, 78, yeah, remind you, this is like 5 years after Roe versus Wade was enacted. But they started to really dog whistle abortion as a thing to get angry about, if you were a Christian. And so they basically said, you know, we're fine to integrate our facilities. We don't want to lose our money, but we're gonna still want to maintain control over our congregations. I am so sorry, you guys. She's not sleeping. So yeah, so Paul Rayrish, you might know him from being a co-founder of the Heritage Foundation, right? Which is of course, the writers of our recent Project 2025 group that basically controls Donald Trump. And so it's kind of wild how the pieces all kind of come around and merge and marinate and come back together. So it's just kind of crazy how, again, Christianity and YT history are so intertwined, and how even something as innocuous as, oh, we want to save babies. Like the whole pro-life argument is a beautiful thing. Like I get it, you're concerned about life and you find it precious, but the way the church actually has turned that into something that is, we're going to give women the death penalty if they make, a decision about their bodies that has nothing to do with me, but we're going to keep riling up people about it so that we can maintain control over how they vote, and how they spend their money and where they put their attention. And it works. And it worked. It's just wild to me. So yeah, when it comes to Christianity and whiteness, it's very, very hand in hand. Also, let's talk a little bit about the Christian rights takeover of politics then. The whole rise of the moral majority is what happened with that time. So like you probably heard of Jerry Falwell, all these like huge these huge mega churches and mega pastors and whatnot. That all really started in the late 70s. And that's when the Heritage Foundation was started. That's when all that stuff with the whole abortion becoming the dog whistle for the Christian right started to happen. So that's, again, in fact, Paul Wayrish, who we were talking about, is who coined that term, the moral majority. And that's what you started to hear. Really, baby? That's so uncouth. But that's what you started to hear in the pulpits and around the way with the Christians that were riled up, that they were the moral majority. Yes. I'm Mama. I'm Mama. Now you don't want to say it. Now you don't want to say it. And honestly, I'm just kind of chit-chatting about the things that are on my mind when it comes to Christianity and whiteness. Hi, German. Hi, Wonder. But yeah, you're welcome to comment or leave messages at any point. You can call in. You can text that number if you like. Unfortunately, I am streaming in a different way, so I can't add guests on TikTok today, but I'm here for discussion, not debate, so don't be scared if you want to call in or if you just want to listen and leave a comment. In fact, let me make sure I am not missing anybody else, because I stream to so many places. And oh, so sorry. Okay, I don't think I've missed any comments, but I do see some people viewing and waving hi. I'm also streaming to Rumble, so I do try to go into the more alt-right, right-wing spaces. I definitely don't want to neglect my MAGA Republican brothers and sisters, because I think that we actually have way more in common. I don't think that we're enemies. I don't think that we're adversaries. all the things that we're told we need to be angry at each other about, we actually probably agree with each other more than you would guess. And so that's really what the point of really is funny. That's the point of, and we might just have to hang this up because she is going in. But that's the point of this show, is that, I just think we have way more in common with each other. And so that's the point, is to try to find those bridges between our ways of thinking, just because I just don't think we're that far off, to be honest. So again, I'm just kind of chit-chatting about my thoughts on Christianity and how it's so deeply intertwined with whiteness. And so during Trump's YT History Month, the month of March, we're going in. We're okay. We're going to talk about YT history. And so just to keep it going, we're talking a little bit about right now about the Christian right's takeover of politics. So evangelicals rallied around racism at first and not abortion. So that's where, again, we talked a little bit about Paul Wayrish and the Heritage Foundation and all that. Also, white Christian nationalism is now the backbone of the Republican Party. They have policies that are aimed to enforce Christian values, not Republican values. A Republican of old would roll in. Yes, they would. What do you want to say? Are you trying to eat my fingers? But yeah, Republicans of old, I think. Well, first of all, Republicans of old would be more like what you would consider the left today. The parties kind of flipped ideologies. Yes, at some point in history. So, but the Republicans, the real Republicans, the real conservatives, I don't think that I don't think they would be pleased with the way that we're trying to expand government. Like, they want smaller government. And yet we're now putting government in charge of women's rights and in charge of women's bodies. Like, we're expending more resources to be concerned about trans people who are 1% of the population. We're attacking librarians. There's bills out there. I think there was a Senate bill that passed through Congress, that allows librarians to be arrested for having material that this new MAGA administration doesn't like. Why are you choosing this moment? You were just asleep. So it's just insane to me. I think that real conservatives, real Republicans would not be having this. But I think when you have the Christian right as again, deeply intertwined and enmeshed in this GOP that we have now, and in the MAGA party and Trump administration that we have now, think about just how Zionist damn near everybody on the right is now. That's actually really kind of scary, because the only reason that the Christian alt-right are Zionists or really want Israel to succeed is because they genuinely think that's what's going to usher in the apocalypse. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding you. Like, the only baby, like Mike Huckabee to say, oh, there's no such thing as a Palestinian, to be like as pro-Israel as he is. Yeah, there's no such thing as the West Bank. That's what he says. Is because he's following the Bible and the Bible's teachings about how once Israel has full control of their homeland, that's going to initiate the apocalypse. I'm not even kidding. So it's kind of messed up that Christians, first of all, they only support Jews in this one thing. Like when World War II was going on, and Jews needed to flee um, from Poland and Germany and all the countries that were being attacked by Hitler. America didn't want them. America was like, no, you can't come here. So it's kind of wild to me. Like, I think that, Israel could have wound up in South America, but they chose, the Palestine, where Palestine is now, as their homeland. And Americans were very happy about that because they did not want Jews immigrating to America. Like, it's crazy. And so, again, the only reason they're actually happy with them having, having their homeland is so, again, they can fulfill biblical prophecies about the apocalypse, and it's kind of fucked up. But yeah, if you disagree, if you if you're like, oh, I don't believe that or whatever, if you want me to look stuff up for you, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, that's the case. But this is your time. This is your space. I'm literally just holding the space for you. If you want to chit chat about any of these issues or any of your thoughts, you are just up. It's like 11:30 at night here. She was asleep like literally 2 seconds ago. She's not having it anymore. You're just awake. Okay. You're gonna eat my clothes. So let's keep talking about the enmeshment of Christianity in YT culture, because it's very important. Because again, we're seeing how those fights with abortion and segregation and integration still impact us today. So just to keep going, we can dig into the Heritage Foundation. Ow! The Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 a little bit more. So the Heritage Foundation is a conservative think tank. It's been instrumental in shaping policies on everything, not just abortion, but tax cuts to dismantling the civil rights protections that we're seeing happen now with DEI, and also rolling back bills and civil rights acts and things. Honey, what's on your mind? Okay, and so even with Project 2025, you're like, oh, how can they come in here and fire all these people? They told you they were going to do that. That's in Project 2025. Like, I know it was a lot. It was like 900 pages to read, but they're literally doing everything. Everything they were like, oh, Project 2025 said that we're going to, basically abolish the Department of Education. They're doing that. We're gonna fire all these federal workers and install like Trump loyalists and MAGA loyalists. That's what they're doing. Like, the whole point of them firing these people is twofold. And again, all of this is at the behest of the Christian alt-right, Christian nationalist alt-right. The Project 2025 folks and stuff, the Heritage Foundation. So the whole point of the firings in particular is twofold. One, and I'm not making this up, this is what they said. This is what they told us they were going to do and why they were going to do it. So the reason they're firing people is because they want to open up these spaces so that they can rehire people who are loyal to Trump. So that, because they've already gotten rid of the whole Chevron doctrine, and what that did was basically it said that if a decision needs to be made in regards to the law in a court case, or because of some kind of lawsuit, that the judges will defer to the professionals from whatever agency is applicable to the situation. Like, for instance, if there's a lawsuit about some kind of foodborne illness, like, I don't know if you remember all those kids that got killed from the beef patties, maybe 40 years ago now? It's a while ago. But all these kids got killed from these beef patties. So they got sued. Burger King, all these uh, meat packing plants and meat companies, they got sued. And when those cases went up to the Supreme Court, they talked to the FDA. They talked to the agency experts to understand the situation. But now that we don't have this Chevron doctrine, these judges can just literally do whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to defer to the experts. They can just say, "Oh, I feel like this is this and whatever." So, it's kind of shitty. Like the Supreme Court, yeah, you have 9, you can have that majority, but if it's just a municipal uh a appeals court or some kind of lower circuit, that's one person who could literally make these really, really sweeping decisions just because that's what the fuck they feel like doing, without any input from actual experts or agencies. And so now that we don't have that, that's one of the reasons that it's so valuable for Trump and them to fire all these people, because now they can not only install people who they want to, but it just reinforces the fact that they can make these sweeping decisions on everything, transportation, like all the agencies, like FDA, FBI, CIA, USAID, the consumer protection bureaus. They don't have to defer to their wisdom anymore. They can just do whatever they want. And again, also just having the Trump loyalists in place lets them literally just do whatever they want. So they've just been handed this free card. So that's the first reason they wanted to fire all these federal workers. The second reason is because it saves them money. In order for them to have these $4 trillion that they need to issue these sweeping tax cuts that they want to do, they need to find money, and Doge isn't doing it. They're definitely not cutting it. All the money that they're saying they're finding, they have to usually retract it, or if you just check the website, things they'll put up and say, "Oh, we found 32 million here. We found 8 billion here." Like the next day, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. It was actually just one contract, and it was just 8 million." And then if you actually look at the actual contracts, most of them have either been paid in full or they've had a large portion of them paid already. So even the very few things that Doge is finding that they're actually stopping, um, you know, most of them are actually paid out already. And a lot that are paid out already still have where even the portion that's left to be paid has to be paid. Like it's not a question. So they can put cancel next to a spreadsheet. It doesn't fucking do anything. If those monies are actually legally binding or legally obligated to be paid, they're legally fucking obligated to be paid. So there's literally no real savings when it comes to what Doge is doing. So that's why firing all these federal employees is also so important, so they can start to kind of find that money that they need to get these tax cuts. So there's not going to be any stimulus checks coming. There's not going to be any reduction of the price of eggs and stuff. So, the thing about that though is we all knew, anybody who voted for Kamala, anybody who had a lick of sense knew that it was never about the price of eggs. Like, you'll even hear like Trump voters say that now, like, "Oh, why do y'all keep talking about the price of eggs? We know it's going to," because you did, because you brought it up. You said that's why you were voting for him. But we all knew that was you trying to gaslight us, because you yourself had been gaslit into thinking that there was going to be any sort of improvement on the economy. So yeah, kind of crazy. And again, I'm literally just here holding the space if you want to call in, or if you want to chit chat about anything that's on your mind, or leave a comment. I'm checking comments periodically. Yeah, so just making sure I didn't miss anybody. But ultimately, again, this is your time. This is your space. I am Sophie of sexwithsophie.com. Literally just here chit-chatting, holding space. Normally this is my show called Call a Liberal, but today, since Trump made March Whitey History Month, we're rolling with it, and we're gonna just again, keep it going and talk about YT history. So every day I've posted a video about a person or event or theme when it comes to YT history. And it's been really interesting seeing the response from people who just didn't know, like that. For instance, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't end slavery everywhere. It only ended slavery in conservative controlled states. So states like Missouri and Delaware and Maryland still had slavery during the Civil War for like 4 or 5 years. Um, so before the amendment was changed to or added to end slavery officially. So a lot of people didn't know that. So yeah, if you check um, my page and make sure you follow me, I'm doing daily videos on stuff like that. Um, but yeah, just again, just chit chatting about YT history and how it's so intertwined with um Christianity. MAGA rocks says Catholic traditionalist. That's a loaded name. What rocks about MAGA? What are you happy about with the current administration? Would love to know uh, what's happy for you. Unemployment final boss. I don't know what that means. Unemployment final boss. I am I am unemployed. I've been unemployed for, I'm saying that, but I have my podcasting business and all this stuff that I do. But yeah, I haven't worked for somebody for a few years now, and it's been wonderful. I could not conceive of having a boss again ever. So yeah, unemployment is wonderful. If you can do it, do it. Yeah. Thanks for your comments. Again, I'm just chit chatting about Christianity and how it's so deeply enmeshed in YT history. And so we talked a lot about the Heritage Foundation, Paul Weirish, abortion, and how the dog whistles that tend to come up from uh, Christianity. Let's talk a little bit about the hypocrisy of it all. If you don't mind. Let's talk about what Christianity says. What Christians say the Bible says versus what the Bible actually says. So we've been talking a whole lot about abortion tonight. And honestly, the Bible itself never says a thing about abortion. In fact, literally the only mention of abortion in the Bible is a how-to guide. Like, I shit you not. The only mention of abortion in the Bible is a how-to guide. Numbers 5:11, and it's basically it doesn't work, and of course it's stupid, but it's basically a how-to guide. If you think your wife cheated on you, she didn't have to. If you just suspected it, there's a process you can do that will empty her womb, that will cause her to have a small abortion. I don't know if I can say some of these words like as liberally as I have been. Um, but yeah, it's absolutely wild that then Christians go so hard about abortion when the Bible itself is very pro abortion. God kills unborn babies all the time. All the time. You just have to ask him. I don't like this town over here. Can you kill? Sure. God's on it. God will kill them all for you. So, yeah, it's just so hypocritical to me that that abortion is the dog whistle that it is, when again, the Bible does not care. And no other religion cares. Islam doesn't care. Guess what? Trump owns you, and when he says dance, you will. I don't live in America, darling, so no, he won't. Um, so yeah, it's just insane to me. And then also you have where God kills children, suckling infants. He kills all kind of folks. And so it's kind of funny to me that, again, abortion is this thing when the Bible doesn't care, God doesn't care. Let's also talk a little bit about like Jesus. 'Cause obviously the Jesus of the Bible has nothing to do with the Jesus that Christians seem to support or purport. This whole idea of oh, and what's it called when you have to give your tithes because that's what's going to come back to you or something. Like Jesus would first of all, Jesus isn't real. Jesus is a mythical creature from a mythical book, but for the people who actually believe in him, the Jesus of the Bible wouldn't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, you probably wouldn't want to have anything to do with him if you're a Christian. It's he's a black immigrant who wanted to give all kind of things away for free, like healthcare and stuff. Like it's just, he would tell you that you have to get rid of your riches. People today would not care for Jesus at all. He preached against greed. And yet you have this, prosperity doctrine. That's what it's called. So it's absolutely nuts. LGBTQ issues. Jesus never mentioned homosexuality. He never did. In fact, the only places that it's actually mentioned, that a male shall not lie with a male, it's right next to things that say, oh, you can't touch pigskins and you can't mix fabrics or you have to kill your second daughter or whatever the fuck. So it's just the absolute most cherry picked bullshit. Again, that Jesus himself would not care about, or would actually, he would hope that you would love your neighbor if they're gay or not. If all people are made in the image of God, maybe God's gay, who knows? So you're over here shitting on gay people when God's probably gay. God's probably a lesbian woman. And so, we probably want to be a little nicer to our LGBTQ folks. Immigration. Jesus was an immigrant. When Mary and Joseph were trying to find a place for her to sleep at night, um, people today in America would want to kick them right out or make them stay in Mexico or stay in the country where the king wanted to kill all the babies. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts to me that, again, the Bible will say one thing and the most diehard Christians will say the exact opposite and still think that they're better than you. They'll still think that they're better than you because they're these faithful people, supposedly. But they're faithful to what? Faithful to who? They're not faithful to the Bible because, again, the Bible, Jesus of the Bible, does not subscribe to literally anything that, especially like the Christian right, would do. You're in a liberal cult. Okay. Much rather be in a liberal cult than a MAGA cult. What do you like about the MAGA cult? Should I join that cult? And if so, why? Like what's better on your side of things? I don't know if you're going to be able to convince me as a black woman that it's better to go over personal responsibility. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. I'm going to stay in the liberal cult. What else you got? Rich, I'd love to know. Why are you're in the MAGA cult because of personal responsibility? Is that why you're in it or why I should join it? A lot of black women are right leaning. What's a lot? Because if you look at how we vote, it's less than 10%. So, that's not really a lot. And if so, why? What's enticing about MAGA and voting for Trump? Like, what's in it for me as a black woman? Like, why do you think those black women that are right leaning are right leaning? Because I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Again, I'm curious as to why you're MAGA, Rich. Why are you in the MAGA cult? I personally, yeah, it's just hard for me to see it, buddy. It really is. Like I understand and respect different viewpoints in the sense that, I can understand how you are doing it for yourself. Like if you feel you will be better off, but I'm looking at how it will serve everyone. And so, like, if it were just me, okay, you have the freedom to prosper in America. The left wants socialism. Can I tell you something? I don't live in America now. I live in a very socialist country, the UK, and I wish I'd moved here so long ago. It is so much more free here than America. It is terrible. Nothing serves everyone. Nothing is 100%. It's pretty fucking close here. Um Let me tell you, like I have the best time here. Everybody's so nice here. I don't have to worry about anything here. I'm so taken care of here. I had a baby here. This baby was born at 23 weeks. Okay. That was 4 months in a hospital with this child. Uh, 4-hour ambulance rides to 3 different hospitals over the course of that time. She had to have a really specialized surgery at Cambridge University Hospital for a thing called retinopathy of prematurity, where they had to laser veins out of her eyes. Like, do you know how fucking much money that would have cost me in America? Do you think this baby would be alive in America? Like, no. So, no, the UK, honey, socialism? Let's have more of that, please. No, no, America isn't for me. It's definitely for you. Like, I understand why you would be in the MAGA cult as a white man, I'm guessing is what you are. Beaker lady? I was thinking more, I got a bit of a sideshow Bob thing going on. I'll take Beaker. I love it. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Rich, have you been outside of America? Where have you traveled to? Um, Military doesn't count. Like, where have you traveled to as far as uh experiencing a different society or a different culture? What is on your head? It's my wig, son. It's due for a wash and a brush. I don't look forward to those days. Hi, Laura. I'll tell you, having the hair texture that I do, I love it. I love it, but it is work. It's a lot of work. So over the next couple days, like it takes a couple days. Like, I have to wash it, I will detangle it. I will then you know, do like a protective style and do like some twists or whatever. And then I can let that kind of rock a few days, and then I can let it out and just rock my curls for a bit. Then I tend to put it back up into what I call my pineapple or my sideshow bob. And then we start the whole process over again. So that's sort of the flow. So I'm at the end of the flow. So a whole couple days of work on this is going to happen real soon. So thanks for asking. Rich, you said you've been to Mexico, France, England, Switzerland, and Canada. Um, yeah, like, so have you lived in all these places? Or, yeah, like, what was your experience, especially like Switzerland? I'd love to know what you thought. Laura, thank you so much for the roses. That is really kind of you. Thank you. Honestly, you know, that's really unexpected. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm literally just here um talking about, Laura knows I'm doing daily videos for, Trump made March YT History Month. And so I'm doing daily videos for just celebrating YT history. And so spent 2 weeks over there in the mid 90s. Nice. And what did you learn? What was your experience? Like, it's beautiful. I think more people need to get out and about, understand that the world is a bigger place. America was great in the 90s with Stone Cold Steve Austin taking the beers to the, yes, yes. Oh my God. I was such a huge wrestling fan. I'm a big fan of AEW now. Um, have not paid a lot of attention. Oh my God, thank you for joining my team, Laura. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Again, today's kind of a one-off because I'm normally doing my Call a Liberal show every night. But for the month of March, since Trump made it YT History Month, I am trying to do daily posts to really celebrate YT history, the people, events, places, and themes of whiteness. And so it's been really interesting so far. Next week, we're going to focus on YT heroes. So we'll talk a little bit about Susan B. Anthony and John Brown and Thomas Jefferson, of course. And so it'll be a really fun week. The food is better for you. The French were rude. The history was amazing. Oh my God. I am the biggest fan of history. And that's very recent. That's very recent. There's a show called Hardcore History. Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever heard of this? What is a woman? What is a woman? A woman is if you have a gender schema that you've developed of what a woman is, and it probably entails feminine features or whatever it is that you deem a woman to be, really. Gender schema are very personalized, individualized things. Thank you. You're not a serious person. No, I'm not. I'm very unserious. I'm very proud of that. Thanks so much, Rangers. Honestly, though, like, what do you think a woman is? I'd love to understand why that question in the first place, because it's a very difficult thing to pin down. Woman is a social construct. So woman typically indicates that, you're talking about a female person, but it could be an intersex person. It could be a non-binary person. You can't say that for other people, if you care, if you don't care, I'm going to just read it as I'm reading it. If you care about history, go to Europe because it opened your mind a lot. Yeah, I live in Europe and or I live in the UK. They don't really consider themselves Europe, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. Race is a social construct too. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. You're the reason Democrats lose elections. I'm not a Democrat, so okay. It's like 350 pounds. Me? It's pretty close. That's a good guess. I'll give you another one. You can take another shot at it. Think about, again, like the whole woman thing. Please keep doing this live and talking. We are normal people. Appreciate it. Thank you. Honestly, like, there's really no such thing as normal. I like different people. I didn't care about history and love the history over there. Yeah, I was just saying, I'm sorry. The podcast that got me into history is called Hardcore History. With Dan Carlin. I think I got that right. And he just absolutely brings it to life. He tells stories and like he'll just give you accounts from people that make you feel like that could be a neighbor of yours or somebody who you could walk out and just shake their hand. And I absolutely love it. So highly recommend Hardcore History. If you follow me, then you'll see that each of the daily posts that I'm doing for YT History Month are really, really, really well researched, if I do say so myself, and really, really involved. Would love your feedback, Rich, if you want to check them out. Have a fellow history lover's eye on it would be so nice. Aren't your parents upset you're doing this in their basement instead of looking for employment? No, I don't want to look for employment. I'm good. I don't want to, like I said earlier, I do not want another boss. In fact, I have a marketing firm and I thought about unshuttering it. But then I was like, you know what? Every single client is just another boss. I'm good. I am good on that. Oh my gosh. Rangers, I'm going to follow you back and at some point when I get off. So We're not really talking about trans stuff today, but whenever we want jump on that, would love your thoughts and opinions. Hi, Sir Queefs a lot. Oh my goodness. Rich, why when did History Month come about? I hadn't heard anything about it. Oh, there was a North Carolina representative from District 15 who announced it. Um, Abortion is awesome. Somebody named Sir Queefsalat would probably know a little bit about that, I'm sure. So, uh, good stuff. Let's see. But yeah, so for YT History Month, I'm just trying to celebrate, and it was kind of a surprise to see it, but I'm with it. Let's do it because there's so much. Because YT history is American history, right? So, so it's very important that we talk about these things. And again, just I'm here just chit chatting about how YT history and Christianity are so entwined. Like they're so super enmeshed, Please keep talking. You're ensuring Republicans will be in power for the next 1,000 years. Okay, sure. Uh, so we were talking a little bit about like the hypocrisy of how the Bible will say one thing, but the way that Christians seem to interpret it doesn't really mesh. So we talked a lot about immigration, abortion. Sir Queef, she might like that. Um, Again, how the Bible literally says nothing bad about abortion. The only mention of abortion in the Bible is a how-to guide. Shit you not. So yeah, it's kind of wild. So ultimately, Christianity is a tool. It's not really a faith as we maybe have thought about it in the past. So especially like white Christianity, it's never been about following actual Christ. It's always been about using your religion as a tool for power, control, and especially racial dominance. So the real goal has never been, oh, we want to bring people to the flock. We want to save souls. It's really never been about that, especially when it comes to like how they forced Christianity onto slaves. I mean, that should tell you right there that it's not, um, it's not something that they actually believed themselves. Um, oh my gosh, I hate to say it, but I think you're right, Swiss. He said, okay, they're nutty. I can only listen to so much nonsense in one day. No, follow me. I'm going to follow you when I get off. Um, the US will not be a thing in the next 1,000 years, little bro. I hate to say it, but yeah, we're done. America is done. Like it, and honestly, like there's just no coming back. I think we're already too far down the slippery slope of fascism, y'all. And it's sad. It's sad to see. And I blame everyone. I really do. Like just seeing how the Democrats are responding to this. Like how can you in one breath say this is fasci and this is, the violations of the Constitution. It's anti-constitutional and this guy's like Hitler, blah blah. How can you say that in one breath? And then in the next breath think that fucking wearing pink while calmly watching him do his whole speech, which is nothing but lies. Like, how can that actually mesh with you then trying to say that he's so bad and all the world's going to hell and this, that, but you're just going to calmly sit there and hold a sign up. You're going to calmly just sit there and listen intently as he talks about this without correcting him or yelling or standing up and shouting, and like it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Please think about I thought you were gone, Rangers. You're welcome to stay though. Please think about your poor parents and start helping with the bills. Nah, I'm good. Honestly, if you can mooch off your parents, y'all. Let's see. Does anyone want to know why the US is both a republic and representative democracy? I mean, honestly, like I hate hearing that argument too, and people are like, "Oh, we're a republic, so Republicans are right. We're not a democracy." Yes, we are. You're absolutely right. We are a representative democracy, and a constitutional republic. You can be two things at once. Farm says, crazy that you love abortion. I love abortion. Love it. Love it. And then you call me Satan. Swiss says the constitutionalist who follows the Constitution, which mentions secularism. You know what? That's the whole point of this conversation today, right? Is that we're talking about how deeply enmeshed Christianity is in YT culture, but it's literally the founding fathers. The one thing they got right was that they said, no, we don't want government and religion to be intertwined at all. Like, they didn't want this. And they even stated, like, if you start to go down that path, shut it down. Shut it down. And we have not listened at all. Farm, how come you don't like abortion? What don't you like about abortion? It's the best thing to do on a Saturday night. Would love your thoughts there. Swiss, thanks for chiming in. I feel like you have a you've probably encountered that argument before. It sounds like when people try to say that we don't live in a democracy because we are a republic, without fully understanding at all what what any of that means. I mean, literally, constitutional republic just means that we operate based on the Constitution, and a representative democracy literally just means that we vote on stuff, and we vote for people to represent us. That's it. So yeah, we're all of those things, both of those things. Hi, Hezekiah and Steve. Thanks for joining. I'm just again opening this space for discussion and chit chatting with folks. Normally, this is my Call a Liberal show. You have no idea how the government works at all. Oh, what do I have wrong? Let me know what I got wrong there, Gunslinger. I definitely don't want to be, yeah, thanks, enlighten us. I don't want to be incorrect. I really don't. In fact, I was mistaken about something. And I learned that recently. I was under this impression that, what was it? When the American Revolution happened, was that 1776? I thought that there were measures put in place to end slavery after like a 20-year period. And I was thinking, oh, well, we overshot that by quite a long shot because slavery didn't end until like the 1860s, I think. So I've always had this impression that we had built into the Constitution the ability to end slavery, but that we just never, or we didn't do it until, Lincoln did it. But I was incorrect. We said that we put into the Constitution that we would abolish the transatlantic slave trade in 1830, I think it is. And we did. We did abolish the transatlantic slave trade in 1830. So I thought that was wild that I had been going with this whole misconception for as long as I had. Who ended slavery? Thank you. It was the Republican Party. Okay, you're right and wrong about so much of that. Yes, it was the Republican Party as far as Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. But who ended slavery? You know what's so wild? He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and that didn't end slavery. Like, it ended slavery or made slavery illegal in the Confederate-owned states. So even after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, there was still slavery. In fact, Lincoln fully supported and backed these states, 4 states that still had slavery for the 4 or 5 years of the Civil War. So it didn't end slavery. It just ended it for the Confederacy. So Missouri, Maryland, Delaware, and somewhere else still had fucking slavery. But just because they were union controlled, they still let them have it. So no. So that didn't do it. What actually ended slavery was it 13th Amendment? 15th Amendment, one of those amendments that was signed, I think 1863. I could be wrong. But so Congress ended uh, slavery. So thanks, Congress. Are you from China? I'm convinced that you're a spy trying to rage bait. I fucking wish. China is the best. I'm on Red Note. Their cities are immaculate. Did you know they brought 500 million people out of poverty and into the middle class there? They their work days are incredible. They don't the same pressures that we have in America to have an hour long lunch or a 30-minute lunch or and you have to their work life balance is insane. Like you can get 2 hours for work. They almost demand that you have naps, you take time off. They care about their people there. It's wild to me. My best friend lives in Dalian, and the cost of living is insanely amazing there. Everything's so modern and high tech. Like have you seen like Xiangdo, Xiangdao? Like they're fucking it's just incredible over there. I wish I was from China. Wish I was from China. Let's see. Um you used DEI to get a degree, didn't you? The fact that you assume I have a degree, that's beautiful. Like, look at you. Thanks, gunslinger. See, I told you she was a communist. No, not a communist. Maybe a Marxist, maybe socialist. Sure. 80s and 90s were great. For who? China isn't a pure communist state. It's really not. I'm not left wing. I'm a true American. Have you been to China in person? No, that's what I'm saying. I'd love to go. Um, so leave and go. We don't want you. Like I said, I don't live in America. Fuck America. Why do you want to stay in America? What's so great about America? Please let me know. Everyone. Yes, I have many times. I'll leave it at that. Okay. um, what? Wait, what kind of socialist? Democratic socialist? I live in the UK. And whatever kind of brand of socialism we have here, that's what I wish America had. Like again, everybody here like just takes care of each other. It's absolutely amazing. Best country on earth. Are you talking about America again? Like why? What? how how is anybody patriotic these days? UK blows my mind, Ron. UK is amazing. Pretty sure that's welfare. Sure. Fine. Welfare is great. Why is she worried about America? Because I'm American. Fuck America. But when it comes to Americans, like I love people. I love my compatriots, you know. I'm born and raised North Carolina. So like I have family there, friends there. I have a lot of survivor's guilt about leaving, especially when so much is so crazy for so many people right now. Um, yeah. Why is she worried about America? That's why. But you're in the UK. Yeah, again, very happy to be over here. I feel like I escaped and just in time. So why are you worried about Ukraine? Excellent retort. Cancer is a good gift. Hopefully it happens for you. you know, I I think that's really kind of a fucked up thing to say. You left, so why are you worried about us? I'm very worried about you. Very, very worried about you. Like you specifically, Chantazel. Great doesn't mean perfect. That's true. I don't even think it's great. Fill these nuts. Chantazel, are you a Republican? Yes, she is. Um, no, I want the enemy to suffer. Then okay, see that's it right there. That's it right there. We're not fucking enemies, my friend. You have so much more in common with me than you do with the person you voted for. like honestly, like I don't see you as my enemy. I don't see any MAGA, Republican, right wing, white supremacist. I don't see any of you guys as my adversaries or my enemies. We have more in common with each other. Nothing in common with her. Try me. Like, what do you disagree with anything that I've said? I'm willing to bet I'm willing to bet that you actually, again, probably agree with me on a lot more than you would probably guess. We are a constitutional republic. Go ahead, Swiss, go off. Yeah, we're also a representative democracy. Wilfredo says EBT phone home. That's actually funny. So you assumed I was what? You so wait, you have assumed I was WHT, I guess white. So you are racist? Do you know what racist means? I love America. Why? What do you love about America? What's to love about America? Sassy men and baby mamas hate Trump. Prove me wrong. I'm a baby mama, clearly. So yeah, there you go. I don't hate Trump. I don't hate anybody, but comes pretty close for him. How is abortion awesome? All caps, exclamation point. I'm pro life. Abortion's amazing. I love abortion. Oh my God, it's like dealing with a child. You don't belong here, I'll say that. I love my president. Okay, but like, why? What do you like about? I love that we're putting Americans. What does that mean? Like, what do you like about America? What is so great about America? I feel like these are all like platitudes. Like, I haven't seen a thing that you said that is a thing. If you're, hey, if you're wondering why I think abortion is awesome, you could ask if you want to know, but I will tell you. Abortion is awesome to me because I would not have this little one. I don't think you could see her, but I would not have my baby without abortion. So, just to maybe tell you my story while Swiss is chatting and throwing out some facts right here. Um, yeah, Kelly, like first in what is America first in? I don't get it. I don't understand patriotism. I definitely don't understand nationalism. But again, abortion. I had to have an abortion. I did IVF and got pregnant, but lost that poor little baby at 7 weeks. And then I had to have an abortion. I had to have a DNC, dilation and curettage, because I did not expel my fetus. It was what's called an incomplete miscarriage. And so had to have an actual abortion. People say that's not an abortion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Dilation and curettage, DNC, is an abortion. It is an abortion. And see, that's the problem. When you only define abortions as elective, or when you only define abortions as somebody walking into a clinic who couldn't handle the consequences of their actions, you're dismissing people like me. You're dismissing a whole shit ton of women who and pregnant people who have all these different situations that you just don't know. So you walking into people's doctor's offices with your misunderstandings of what the word even is not helping anyone. So again, had to have an abortion. And then after I did, 30 days later, I was able to do IVF attempt number 2, which got me this little nugget. So abortion is amazing. It's absolutely wonderful. You didn't purposely kill your baby. Again, there's abortions that don't kill babies. There's a hysterotomy abortion. It's basically a C-section that can preserve the life of the fetus. There's induction abortions, basically inducing your pregnancy before you're at full term. Does not kill the fetus. So it's not always about that. But again, like to have a miscarriage, an incomplete miscarriage like me, or to have a situation where the baby's terminal, or if the mother's sick, you just don't know what the situation is. It could be a perfectly healthy, perfectly fine pregnancy, but what if the mom is in a situation where the husband or boyfriend or partner is now abusive? He thinks, "Oh, I trapped her now." That happens a lot with narcissists, especially. Like, "Oh, I got her now. She's pregnant now." And now you're going to subject her and this baby to physical, emotional abuse. Let her make whatever decision she feels is best for her. And honestly, what if it is a woman who's like, or a person who's like, yeah, girl, abortion party this weekend. Let's go. You and me, Chantizzle. Abortions for everybody. If there's this mythical woman or person who is so irresponsible, why would you want to subject her to being a mom? Why would you want to subject some poor little kid to having that as a mom? Like, if it just makes no sense to me. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Abortion is when you purposely end a pregnancy. Not true. Again, the fact that you do not know what an abortion is, and yet you're voting on what other people can and can't do when it comes to their health care, that's wild to me. That's wild to me. And again, it's not a baby. It's not the baby. In fact, I think, let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this picture for you. And it might help because again, I'm not bashing you. I think it's beautiful that you are concerned about life and babies. Like, there's who would fault you for that? Like, it's a beautiful thing to care. So just, if hopefully it makes you feel better, like it's definitely not as serious as I think you're making it out to be. Again, the only reason you're even mad, you probably missed us talking about this whole thing with how abortion wasn't even an issue. First of all, it's not in the Bible. So if you're a Christian and that's why you're mad, it's the Bible doesn't have anything bad to say about abortion. Um, let's see. What am I looking for? Fetus. I don't know if can you see these pictures? Okay, so this is, yeah. So this is what you're worried about. This big piece here is the pregnancy sac and material of a 9-week, 10-week old fetus, 9-week old fetus. It's not even a fetus at this point. It's just a zygote. So this is 9 weeks. Okay. And 97%, it's like 90 to 97% of abortions are completed before 10 weeks. So this is what you're worried about. This is not a baby. Okay? This is nothing. This is 5 weeks. This is 6 weeks. And at 6 weeks, the little heart valves, you can actually hear the ultrasound machine will literally mimic, like, it'll create that rushing sound, so you can see the heart beating. So that's why, like, heartbeat bills are bullshit, because this is 6 weeks, and a lot of abortion bans say that you can't have an abortion after 6 weeks. 7 weeks. Let me make sure you can see. And hold on, I switched my other one too. Sorry. Whoa. Yeah, but I just hope this makes you feel a little bit better. It is definitely not and it's not showing up. If you're on YouTube and you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? I'm sorry, it's not coming up for my YouTube thing. But yeah, that's what you're worried about. It's not, I promise you, it's not that serious. So I'm missing some comments, but again, just hoping that helps. Like, it's not a baby at this point, I promise you. And also, again, it's not how is it murder to to get rid of that? Like, that's not a baby. I was that serious when you paid thousands for IVF. Yeah. Yeah, IVF is no joke. It is no joke. It's no joke. But again, people who have wanted babies get abortions all the time. In fact, I think even people who, again, are flippant about it, you know, this mythical woman who's like, yeah, girl, let's go get an abortion. I just, I'm hard pressed to believe that exists. Again, having had an abortion, I know how much it hurts. I know how much it physically fucking hurts. It's not a fun thing to do. And so, like, it's definitely not this thing that even people who electively get one are doing it without thinking about it, or doing it without having so much consideration and thought behind their decision. Why are you debating abortion? Because Chantizzle was asking why I thought abortion was awesome. Let's see. Seal Beater, we've always been great. You and Chantizzle have not really even said what's great about America. I don't understand why are you advocating for something that hurts? Because I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's better than the slow death of sepsis with a dying fetus rotting inside of you. Abortion's amazing. It's amazing. Um, so I mean, honestly, Shintizzle, it genuinely sounds like you have to do a little bit more homework. And honestly, for you to be so up in arms about this topic, but to not know anything about it, you gotta learn, baby. You gotta get a book. I have a YouTube video on abortion, and I try to tackle the pro-life's top 10 fears. And I highly recommend it if you just want to, think about why you're so upset and also understand what abortion really is. And also, like, if you don't like it after watching my 2.5 hour video on how to address your fears around abortion, just don't get one. You don't have to get one, but you also shouldn't try to dictate what other people can and can't do, especially when you don't know every single person's circumstance. You just can't know. We don't get them. And you don't have to. But I mean, the thing is, if you need one, you should be okay getting one. There's this amazing article called oh my gosh, my my abortion is a moral abortion, or my abortion is the moral abortion, or something to that effect. Um and it basically talks about how all these pro-life people who were out in front of the clinic protesting one day will come in the next day, have an abortion, and be right out protesting again the next day. So, the only people you're harming is yourself. Again, like, to try and be all up in everybody else's business. Why? Like, it makes no sense to me what somebody else does with their life. But then for you to need an abortion and have to go through the mental gymnastics of whether or not you should get it, like, why do that to yourself? Because either you get it and you feel guilty, and then you're a hypocrite because you're going to keep being upset about this thing even though you had to utilize it, or you're not going to get it when you needed it, and now you have an extra mouth to feed that you couldn't afford, or now you're sick because you didn't want to abort a baby that was going to wreck your body, or now you have a baby that's needs care for the rest of its life, or maybe you have the baby and it passes away after 2 days. Like, you just don't know why people need abortions. Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris. We get married before we carry. Now that means that you would back a bill that a North Carolina Republican congresswoman has made, called the Right to Bear Blanks Act. If you look on my page on TikTok, you'll see it. And it's basically a bill that says that all men in America will have to get vasectomies. All men. As soon as you hit 18, you got to get a vasectomy. All men who are already over 18 have 90 days. As soon as that bill passes, they'll have 90 days. You got to check it out. Go to my page when you get a chance. And Chantizzle, you got to make sure you're following me, girl, because I really appreciate the discourse. I appreciate your questions. It hasn't passed yet. That's because it's make believe. But you should check it out. Basically, I'm gonna ruin it for you all. Sorry, but I play a Republican character, and I propose bills that I think make a lot of sense. Because don't you wish that it was real? Wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't that solve everything? Wouldn't it solve everything if all men had to get a vasectomy? You are required to deliver a sperm sample to a federal sperm bank and get a vasectomy within 90 days of this bill passing. What? Guess what it's called? Demon rats. No, the bill is called the Right to Bear Blanks Act. And so if you're really interested in ending abortion, especially elective abortion, then you would be a proponent of all men getting vasectomies, of all men storing their sperm, freezing their sperm. Yeah, big dog. But honestly, why is this not something we're fighting for? Tizzle, like, why are you not out here advocating for this instead of jumping down the throat of poor girls who you have no idea why they might need to get an abortion? We can end it all together. Think about it. If every man had a vasectomy, if every man stored their sperm and then got a vasectomy, oh, honey bunches. Like, why would we ever need abortions ever again? And also, like, if they go around and grape somebody or essay somebody, or if there's an incestuous situation. Hey, baby. Hi, baby. Why am I not advocating for motherhood since I paid thousands to be a mother? Because I would never force somebody to live my lifestyle. How does that make any sense? Clearly, the child is worth it. I mean, for me. But there's plenty of people who not only do they not want kids, but thing is too, like 60% of people who go to get abortions already have kids. So if anything, you're harming existing children by taking away resources from them. If you're forcing a woman to have kids who doesn't want to have it, you can't be on both sides of an argument. Like, I can't have a kid and think it's okay for other people to not have kids. Again, I think you should absolutely then advocate for all men to get vasectomies. And then that way, when they're ready to have kids, they've got sperm stored. They can go knock that right out, get that turkey baster and get it going, I'm on a side. What side do you think I'm on? Like, what side do you think I'm on? Like, I just don't understand what you're saying. You're saying that because I wanted kids and because I went through hell and high water to have kids, that I need to force everyone else to have kids? Like, how does that make sense? If anything, how come you don't see it as I made this choice for myself? I was able to make this choice for myself. So of course I'm a proponent of everybody being able to make choices for themselves. Vote for yourself and not others. I think that's the real problem, honestly. I think that when we have people who vote for the person who hates the people they hate, or who votes for the person who likes the thing that they like, instead of voting for the person who's considering everybody's needs or considering allowing everybody to have rights, You know, I think that's the key differentiation between our ways of thinking, if you will. You know, the importance of having a child, vote for that. Having a child sucks. Do you know how much money they cost and how much time and energy there? I would never wish a child on somebody who doesn't want one. Why would you vote against yourself? Voting against myself is voting for taking what rights away from people. Think about it again. I could not have her if I didn't have an abortion. If I didn't have an abortion, I would be dead right now, probably. So, so of course if I'm going to vote for abortion, even if I'm voting in a selfish way. But I'm not. I'm voting in a way that, considers what all people need to do for their situation. Again, help me out of the circle. I don't understand how I'm in the circle. Like, yes, I paid thousands for me to have because I wanted a baby. I wanted a baby. I adopted our 5-year old. So I've spent a lot of money in a lot of different ways to have kids and grow my family. So that's me. That's what I wanted. I respect other people who don't want that. So I just don't understand how you feel I'm saying something different. Like, again, I think we're on the same page. I think you're saying that people who care about families and who want to have families should be able to do that. I think we're saying the same thing, Chantizzle. I genuinely think we're saying the same thing. And I don't understand how you feel I'm talking in circles when we're saying the same thing. I just think I'm not going to force anybody. But if they want that option, they should have it. So either way, I hope you follow Chantizzle because I really appreciate you commenting and engaging. That's really kind of you. And again, I don't think you're my adversary or my enemy or anything like that. And I appreciate having a different point of view shared with me. Thank you. With that being said, though, I can tell my little one is getting a little uncomfortable, so I'm gonna hang it up for the night. But very happy to have kind of discussed just how enmeshed Christianity can be in YT history, and also sorry to spill the beans on my Republican alter ego, but give me a follow and check out some of my videos. I'm doing daily posts for YT History Month, and so the whole first week was about the foundations of whiteness. We talked about colonization and 1619 project and literally so much, the Bacon's Rebellion, all kind of stuff. And so next week we're going to get into heroes of whiteness, white heroes. And so stay tuned. Make sure you follow. And I'm going to hang it up for the night. So I'll leave you with my directive as I always do. I want you all to love one another. Okay. But with permission. All right. You guys have a good night. Thanks so much for hanging out.